Like, never like, never like, never like.
Good morning everybody and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name's Zarina. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for returning and clicking on my video once again. And if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to click the like, share and also subscribe so you will get notified when I upload new videos. Today's video is something that it's been so powerful on my mind for the past few days, and I wanted to share with you guys in case it also helps someone else in the way that it has helped me. And the message in this video is really very much about being vulnerable and being courageous. And in what way do I mean that? I'm going to talk about this in a very kind of general sense, but in my situation specifically, it's something to do with a personal relationship and being upfront about the way I feel about someone. And the reason I wanted to do this is because the reason I wanted to share this video is because it can be incredibly scary to be vulnerable and to express true emotions to someone, especially when you really don't know, or even worse, when you are thinking that's probably going to lead to rejection. I used to be the sort of person that would block out the potential for rejection, so I wouldn't really express my emotions first, let's say. And there are two sides to this situation, because if you are someone that's not, fully full in yourself, and if you haven't found that internal happiness and that internal grounding, and if you don't fully, love, accept yourself and are kind to yourself in the first place, if you haven't done the work for that, and then you go into a situation and you give someone, you express your feelings to someone, or you let someone in a certain way, but you really need them to be happy, like you need a response from them, a very similar response from them for your happiness. If you need that person for happiness, if you need that person to reciprocate that, what you feel for them, and then you are vulnerable, when you get hit with the rejection, it can have a really negative effect on you and almost like knock your own confidence. If you're not already, in a place of stability of your own and happiness and internal like fulfillment already, if that makes sense. So there have been times in my life that, let's say as an example, let's say you meet someone, you really like them and you would like them to be with you. If you really need that person for validation, and if you're not already validated and in a place of peace, and if you don't feel whole already without that person to a certain extent, when you express that emotion to them and they reject you, let's say, you're probably going to make it about you, and you're probably going to feel really hurt, and you're probably going to dislike that person for causing you the hurt. However, or like be resentful towards that person. However, if you already know your own worth, know your own value, feel fulfilled on your own, perhaps yes, you want a partner, but you don't need a partner and someone to be with. If you then express to this person just your honest feelings, and you perhaps are the first person to say, what, I like you, I would like to see where this goes. Even if that person rejects you, that's okay, because actually that's really attractive. I feel like whenever I've expressed emotions in that way, and that other person perhaps wasn't the right person for me, or maybe they had something else going on, I could very gracefully kind of, I'll process my emotions. It's disappointing and it can be a little bit like, it can sting at the time, let's say. But at the same time, I can respect where that person's coming from, and I can respect their response, because I don't want to force anybody into being with me. I I suppose my thinking behind it is also I don't want to live with regret, and I don't want to live with like toxic, holding things in because this person should do this and because I don't want to be the first to whatever. I just feel if it feels right and you express your emotions and it doesn't go anywhere or the other person doesn't feel the same, it's the handling of that that's really important, and it's actually an amazing way to gain respect. And also that person will probably think, wow, what a courageous thing to do, and actually I really respect it. And I like that because you can do that and still remain in your feminine and still remain confident and put together, and it just shows strength and it shows confidence and it shows you really are someone that's not afraid to put yourself out there. But you will also, and I think the key for me with something like this is that there's no confusion and I'm not lowering my standards. Like if I like someone, I'm going to express it, and then it's down to both of us to decide if it is something worth exploring or not. And that makes me feel good in myself because I'm never lowering, I'm never presuming someone likes me and then I start to do things or I start to behave a certain way hoping that they're going to like me back, or like trying to create a thing. It's very relaxed because when I feel comfortable enough to express my emotions and when I feel in control of myself, it's very, I'm not creating anything. There's no negative energy around it. It is what it is. We can still be cool, and I'm going to move on with my life. I'm not going to hold out for you hoping that it's going to turn into this or hoping that it's going to turn into that. Or there's no level of manipulation. There's no level of like expectations. There's not going to be any resentment in the long run. And I do believe that the right person, once you express that something, that you feel a certain way about someone, if they are the right person, even if it catches them off guard, they're going to have a little bit of time to maybe process, unless they already feel the same way and they were about to come your way and say the exact same thing. There is really, to me, there's no loss to that. I think the only dangerous thing is if you don't know what you're looking for and if you don't already have standards, someone could fool you into saying, yeah, okay, I feel the same way, but they don't really. They might just want to, get their cake and eat it or something. And if you are, if you do that with the wrong person, I mean, hopefully you won't do that with the wrong person because you'll have taken your time to know the person you're going to say that to. But if you do say it to the wrong person, my most helpful piece of advice is always watch out for people's actions and behavior and never words. So for example, if someone says to me, I really like you, I'd really like to pursue something with you, but then they're perhaps, I don't know, going out with their single friends all the time and they're not introducing me to people in their life, and they don't talk to me about, what's going on in their life, or they don't talk about, I don't know, things that matter to them, or if they're being vague about the future and things like that. There are signs and things to pick up along the way where you're like, okay, maybe this person isn't as, doesn't really mean the thing they're saying, because I think if they did, you would feel that sense of, this person isn't playing games. You feel quite safe and you just feel good rather than worry and question things. And I think that's really, really important to say because, I think in life we can hold on to people, hold on to situations by hoping that it's going to turn into a thing, or by like not really facing the reality of what is going on. And because it's hard, because it's painful, because it means you might have to step out into the unknown. It means you might have to let go of something that's perhaps a security, or you're like somehow depending on someone or something a certain way. There's many layers to this. But what I'm talking about here is about, two healthy and hopefully mature people who can just express their emotions. I personally feel very secure in myself, so it's not, and I say that because I've done a lot of work to get there. I wasn't like that before, and it's important for me to be able to express the emotion just as comfortably and confidently as I am to, let go of something or someone that's perhaps not the right thing for me, or, perhaps they do reject me, or perhaps, I'm turned away from something, or perhaps I know that they're not the right person. And even if I like them, I am secure in myself to say, this isn't working. I don't feel we align on certain things, etc., etc., etc. Communication is key. But what is difficult is to communicate something that you don't even understand, you're not willing to deal with, you're not willing to acknowledge. If you're not really willing to look at the reality of something, you can't communicate, because it's confusing, and perhaps sometimes we don't want to admit to things and we just like hope for something else. I personally just don't think that's the way forward. I think more often than not, sometimes it can work out, don't get me wrong, but more often than not, that would be the exception to the rule. So I'm very pro express what it is, and be confident, and be grounded, and be rooted in yourself, and be whole enough that if you don't get that thing, or if something doesn't go the way you want it, or if something doesn't go to your plan, you are able to get up and go, and see that for what it is, and still know your own worth, and still believe that there is better, etc., etc., etc. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that helps someone else out there. And like I said, that's not something I always had. It's something I've done the work to get to. And I'm happy to share with you guys a little more of how I got there. And I probably will over my next videos or so. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope that helps someone. If you did enjoy, don't forget to give me that thumbs up, share and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.